Hey, hey, we
What's
are
going on,
live.
man?
All right, Halenville on a Sunday night, April 11th, 2021. How you doing, Tommy?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
Doing great, dude. Doing good.
Like that T-shirt.
Yeah, 81 fair warning.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Um, how's things going for you, dude?
Pretty good, man. Just trying to catch up on the week, get everything done today. A lot of laundry and other boring stuff. Ooh, what was that?
This is reassign some ringtones around my phone, and this is yours and Brendan's and Johnny's and
That's
Sandra's
awesome.
new ringtone. So
I dig that.
yeah,
Now, I
so
wonder if you held that up to your guitar pickup, if it would.
yeah.
Because the frequency almost sounds like it was made to use it for that,
Well, that's
you
got
know?
yeah, yeah,
Because I saw a
yeah,
guy once and I'm like, that's genius. Like he was like, someone was like, oh, can you do pound cake? I bet you can't do that. And he's like, I bet you don't have a drill. And he's like, well, I have one at home, but I don't have one here. And the guy's like, when we think about it, he pulls up like a ringtone like that, and he did it. And then they went into pound cake. I thought that was brilliant. It wasn't on video. It was I was in a club in Baltimore. I saw it live in front of me, but it was just funny because it was like, I'll give you $100 if you can play pound cake, but I want to hear the drill too, you know.
yeah,
And the guy did it. you
yeah.
know,
Um,
but
so we are waiting on Johnny. He's got a lot of work going on around his place, and his yard. So hopefully he'll join us. But we do have a guest waiting in the green room, and so if anybody in the chat wants to hop in here tonight, there is a link already down in the description. Um, we're going to pick our top tracks, our top two tracks off of every Van Halen album, starting with Van Halen 1, and we're going to go all the way to A Different Kind of Truth. Yeah. So, um, and you guys in the chat, I want to hear
your thoughts
your
too,
top two as well as we go. Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. Hope everybody's doing good. I see Edwin Crane out there, CK, um, original Paramutant,
Yep.
Will the Dreamer,
What's up, Will? Going Edwin, CK, original pair mutant,
Sandra, the lovely.
the lovely
She'll
Sandra
be right
Pocconi.
along. Yes. Um,
Hey,
Mr.
Chris.
Chris Sauer. Hey, buddy.
Sorry, I'm losing my
Um,
voice again today.
James Gum. Nice to see you.
How you doing?
Yeah. Chris mailed me a week or so ago. He mailed me a bootleg of some really early Greta Van Fleet
Oh, okay.
back when they
Cool.
were in high school.
Wow.
Um,
Like what year
yeah,
do you know around?
2012, I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. So was it
Um,
like covers or originals or what?
no, it's like a live show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Um,
I thought you meant like a demo at first. That's cool. Very cool.
yeah, I know. Um, yeah. So, yeah,
Awesome.
Chris, I appreciate that. So let's bring in a really cool cat. He has his own YouTube show. Um, he does a couple of streams a week, hanging with the Dreamer. Will Starr, he is a great guy, big Halen fan. He's going to help us rank these songs, and you guys are going to like him. Let's bring him on in. Ladies and gentlemen, Will, there he is.
Hey guys, how you doing? Good evening. How's everybody in the chat? How's it going?
Doing good, dude. How are you?
I'm good, man. Life is great. Life is great. You know, life is what you make it, right?
That's it.
Yeah. You could go through all day being all bummed out about whatever that may be, or you do your best to get through it and try to get your stride and keep going, man. You know?
That's it.
So how's everybody doing tonight?
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So what you got, Tony? Thank you for the invite. Thank you for finally I'm able to meet Tom.
Yes, nice to meet you as well.
You know, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Glad you could be
Thank you,
here.
Tony. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tom. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, dude. Nice to have you.
Thank you, Tony.
Now, Will, I've watched your show for as long as you've been doing it, and you got some really cool rock bands who you interview on your show. We'll try to get a link posted on your show, and you guys go check out Will's show. Will popped in here kind of last minute. Otherwise, I would have already had his stuff loaded in. We'll try to get those links in here shortly. Maybe Will can hold something up. I think he's hunting in his phone.
Yeah. I'm sending you a link right now in your messenger, Tony.
Okay. All right, cool.
There you go. There's the link to my channel.
Okay,
it's in your Facebook Messenger.
All right, nice. So Will.
Yeah.
For as long as I've been watching you, you know I'm a huge Van Halen fan. Now,
absolutely.
You grew up in Pasadena.
Yes, I did.
So, and I've heard you mention along the way that the two Van Halen brothers were just a couple of years older than you.
Eddie was, yes.
And you were actually at a number of the legendary backyard parties in that area.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Yep.
Let me hear about that, dude.
Okay. Check this out. Have you ever come into a point in your life where you met somebody or you wanted to be around a group of people so bad because you knew that's where you belonged, that you would go to any extent to make sure that happened?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did.
Wow.
I was young. I was little. I was young. I was chasing girls. I was having my heart broke. I was doing the whole thing that young up and starters do. Let me tell you something. Every time that Van Halen was playing in somebody's backyard, that there would be so many cars on the street that it would take. I remember one party. It took the police about 45 minutes to get to the house because they had to cut through all the cars on the street. The neighbors hated it, as you can imagine. But I got to tell you, that's what put them on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's times like that. Now, that leads me to the second thought. There was a club called Papillons in Monrovia. Maybe Johnny Beane knows about it. And
I know it's from pictures, but that's it.
that was the spot.
Yeah.
Because whenever there was a party in somebody's backyard, the next weekend they'd be in Hollywood, or the next weekend they might play at Papillons. It was just a big circle, a big tribal circle. I mean, everybody knew everybody. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. It was everything that a young up and coming rocker's dreams were made of at the time. Yeah, it was crazy.
We had heard those legends back, all of our lives, but really just a couple of years ago, Greg Renoff made those pre-signing days come alive in his Van Halen Rising, in his book.
Yes.
And that really detailed a lot of what happened at the parties and how things went down. But you living in that area,
it was a time.
What was the local buzz? Because they played these parties, but they would go to the Civic Center and bring in 4,000 every month, once a month.
Yeah. Pasadena Civic Center. Yeah. Well, see, I think the best way I can answer that, Tony, is kind of put you in this scenario. Say you're walking down Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena, right? And I'm walking the other, you're going this way and I'm going this way. We're on the same side of the street. And I'm just tripping by you and I stop. You're like, hey, man, what's going on? Didn't I see you last week? The very first words out of my mouth would be, where are they playing at this weekend? That's exactly what the first words would have been out of my mouth. Hey, man, where are they playing at this weekend? I want to go.
So every kid knew about it.
You finish your food.
Yeah. And the amazing thing is I don't know if you hear my mom in the background, but she used to work with Dr. Nathan Roth.
Oh, wow.
When she worked for San Gabriel Valley Medical Center.
Yeah.
And she took me on a tour. I went to visit her at work one time, and she took me on a tour. She goes, come on, I want to show you something. So she took me to a closed off location in the hospital where that wasn't ready to be opened yet. She hadn't access, so she opened the doors and went in, and she said, read that plaque. This wing is donated by David Lee Roth, Michael Anthony, Alex Van Halen, Edward Van Halen, not in that order.
Where?
They have, I have never in my life ever knew or met anybody with such a bigger heart than those guys. 150% legit. Okay. Michael Anthony even once said that if he wasn't a musician, he'd be working with disadvantaged children because they really grab his heart.
Yeah.
You know, that shows you the character of these guys.
Did you ever go see them in Bill Gazzari's club or the Starwood and these places, Will?
When they went to the whiskey, when they were playing the whiskey 4 sets a night, they're playing the Starwood 4 sets a night. I had already moved on in another direction. I was like getting older and just really, into Led Zeppelin and getting into Quiet Riot and everything else and going that whole scene. I pretty much was right there at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And saw how the whole thing took place.
Yeah.
By the time that they made it to Hollywood, they were already on the edge. They were already, by the time they made it to Hollywood, they had accomplished something that no other band at that time could accomplish.
Yeah.
4 nights a week, 4 sets a night, mixing in their originals with covers. They had a massive cover list that just went on for miles. It went on for days. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
They did build quite a little local following early on. Yeah.
Hey, Lenny Lou.
I have some pictures. How's it going? I have some pictures, Tony. I'm going to send you to your Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now if you don't mind.
All right. Sure.
But these are pictures that I got from Doug Anderson. Johnny Beane knows him. And these pictures I got in his guitar repair shop. He built in his home in Pasadena, and he called it the Van Halen Museum.
Wow.
And Eddie donated a whole bunch of Marshall stacks and from the early days. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I used to have guitar amps worked on there and play through the walls of Marshalls. And then I found out that the Marshalls, like 8 Marshall stacks I was playing through was Eddie's.
Wow.
That he just gave Doug, because Doug was part of that whole posse, part of the whole crew.
Yeah, I have a 7100 watt Marshall head I love because nothing else does what that does.
It's crazy.
That sound, it's funny. But Tony, did you listen to Pete Thorne's interview with Tracy Guns today?
No, I heard about it.
New information. You want to hear this?
What is it?
Tracy Guns was at 5150 with Eddie Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
And Tracy Guns said he brought like some 70, 71, 72 Marshalls, not plexi metal panel, but still hand wired, And, essentially what I have. And he said Eddie put everything on 10, but then he put the bass on 0. And I'm like, okay, it makes a lot more sense because he always said he dimed everything and it gets way too flubby. And Tracy goes, oh, yeah, I was there like Tracy Guns, everyone knows he was friends with Eddie. He's like, I was there. I couldn't count how many times I was there. I was there all the time. And he goes, Eddie always put the bass on 0. And he said he was playing Tracy Guns' guitar that had the super distortion on the bridge. And he said, this sounds just like something to the effect of, this sounds just like what I used around like the 79, 80 or whatever. He said on Van Halen too. And it was super distortion. And he just kind of confirmed what everyone thought, that pickup was, not a PAF style pickup on the second album. It's way too aggressive. And I'm like, thank you, Tracy Guns, someone with like a reputation that's, has provenance. Like they said what everyone thought.
Yeah. 0, huh?
That's what he said.
Huh.
I mean,
Huh.
I use the bass control on an old Marshall like that, more like a resonance control on a PV5150. Like you got to tune it to where your cabinet is, you know. Yeah, never do I put it the whole way to 10, man. It's just like it farts out, you know. Your transformer goes like it
Do
wants
you
to
have
die.
a 5150, Tom?
I did in high school. That was the amp I had in high school. 5150 half stack I had when I was in high school. I don't have it anymore. I sold it to a good friend of mine. But I've got a 71 Marshall 100 watt, and then I have George Metropolis that makes like just kind of remakes old Marshalls. I have his Metroplex, which will do everything from like a JTM 45 style preamp up to like a modded 800 kind of sound. So that's kind of like another Marshall type flavor, and then I have a handful of other Fenders and other amps.
Well, for the longest time, I pretty much grew up a Gibson Marshall guy. I used to sit in the kitchen with my mom when I was younger, and we used to listen to Les Paul and Mary Ford all the time on the kitchen radio, and
cool.
that's how I got kind of introduced. But then when Gibson's got priced right out of my wallet, I discovered another company that I think is going to be the next up and coming guitar manufacturer that these high price boutique companies need to really watch out for. They're called All in One, AIO.com. I highly recommend them.
Cool.
And I've got a stack of cases right here, and two of the cases in my little mini stack here are AIOs, and abalone, just phenomenal. And the only reason why I brought that up because I heard you mention, it made me think. Maybe.
Oh yeah, cool, very cool.
My memory's being sparked.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get it 100%, man. That's cool. Very cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
We're gonna have your link up here shortly. Will,
thanks,
if you guys see it, let me know in case I'm not looking, and I'll highlight it on the screen. Let me see what I got here. All right, so I'm curious, as I'm curious as you guys in the chat, is what songs off these Van Halen albums do you like the best? I know which ones I like the best. Tom and Will, I want to know what songs you guys like the best. So what we're going to do is we're going to go album by album, and we're going to pick the top 2 songs, in your opinion, off each album. And we're going to start with Van Halen 1. And Mr. Tom, you get to tee off first.
I have to go first.
How about it? So
Van Halen 1. I'm just going from memory. I got to go number 5. I'm the one. the rhythm, the intro riff.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all. That's for me. That's done. Like when I heard that, that's it for me. That's my favorite track.
What's number 2 off of it? What's your runner-up?
So I was thinking about this between 2 of them, but I'm not going on like, oh, this solo is the best or this one. I'm going on my overall thought of the song. So I got to think back to when I was like in high school listening to these songs and mowing lawns in the summer. Like, what from that memory did I go, yeah, that's the song? So I would say for me, my runner up, just because of what it did for wanting to have that sound, is definitely Atomic Pond. That's my runner up.
Ah, okay. Nice.
And it's changed over the years, but when I think back on it, like when I was a kid, like those are the two ones for me. But I'm the one because I still struggle to play that song. I'm the one, like that rhythm is like, man, and he just plays it in the groove, like, oh, that's he plays it like that's nothing. I got this, like, and the way Dave Lee Roth is like, look at all these little kids. It's almost like they're doing like the jazz thing, but with heavier rhythm. It really is like a swung jazz, triplet beat. It's really just swung eights, but it's like that. And then when he comes down with those, like that's just, oh man, it's priceless. Like, what kind of band in 1978 was doing that, man? No one but them.
Nobody.
It doesn't, like, I played it to my 14-year-old son. I'm like, does this sound dated? And he's like, no.
Well, I have to say that when they came back with Roth and Wolfgang in '07,
yeah,
and they began those shows with "You Really Got Me," and then they went straight into that. I was like, "Oh no, they're doing it!" It had been a lot of years.
a long time,
Yeah, dude.
Because you had seen them originally do it, yeah.
All right, so those are your that's a good choice there. Will,
Yeah, buddy.
there's your list.
Okay, well, this is actually, and I'll tell you why I'm going to say what I'm going to say right now. This is relatively easy for me. Little Dreamer and Atomic Pond. Okay, why? I'm waiting for somebody in the chat to ask me why, because that, to a lot of people, I've been told that's like a real odd pairing. But I'll tell you, Atomic Punks is the essence of the early days. That's why that song probably pops in my head first, because all the stuff that David Lee Roth wrote about is really specified about the early days with Atomic Punks. And with Van Halen coming up. Okay, Little Dreamer is because, see, Eddie was just 6 years ahead of me in school. Not very far.
Right.
6 years, to some people it's a long time, but okay, fine. But to me, it'll always be not very far ahead of me.
Right.
It wasn't 16 years or 26 years. It was 6 years. And as long as all the time that I spent hanging out in that environment around all these rock and roll, freeload, crazy rockers, Pasadena rockers, San Gabriel Valley rockers. Little Dreamer totally fits Eddie and Alex perfectly. And Michael, too, really, to be honest with you. And even David Lee Roth, even the man himself. Little Dreamer that's a very important song in the heritage that is now the legend that is now known as Van Halen.
Yeah. There you go. Nice. Well, I'll tell you,
Yeah,
There's not a bad song on the record,
I agree.
Yeah.
but I mean, it starts
With a
right
bang.
there. It
Yeah,
starts with a bang and it ends with a bang.
yeah.
So, with that said, um, you
That's a
know,
great shot at David.
my my loves of that album are those anthems,
Oh
so
yeah.
my top two songs on that are Running with the Devil and Ain't Talking About Love,
Hmm.
you know um and they pretty much they did those songs live most of the tours,
Yep.
um a lot of the tours. So yeah, um, yeah. But I mean, I love your two, Tom, and
It's
yours,
tough.
Will. But yeah,
I mean,
it's
for me, if you're talking about pure tone, Ain't Talking About Love, to me personally, is the best, like single, not chords, but single string notes. The tone of it is the best. If I could have that tone every single day, that's all I'd ever want. That's the
oh yeah,
best tone on
Hmm.
tape, period, ever to me.
yeah,
That intro, and the way that when he hits that flanger, it sounds like a freaking lion. It sounds like a
Hmm.
lion roaring, is what it sounds like. And no one can, even him doing it live, he couldn't always nail it live because it's like getting the effect and the way you bend the note right and both of those parts together. But on that take on the album, I would sit there and just once CDs came out and just keep playing that loop, that beginning part over and over on the CD and just keep going, oh man, oh man.
Amazing. Amazing.
Like 100 times in a row. I did on tape too, but then I'd wear the tape out.
Amazing.
I can't get over that sound to this day.
Say, Tony, did you get those pictures I sent you?
yeah.
Your Facebook Messenger?
Let me check that. So, guys and gals in the chat, there is Will's link
Aw, thanks, Tony.
in the chat.
Thank you
Um,
so much. That's kind of you.
Check out his live shows. He's got some cool bands and some cool interviews every single week. Um, yeah, it's always a treat.
Cool.
Thank you,
So
Tony.
um, I'm gonna check that. So we're gonna go to
Van Halen too.
Van Halen 2. All
Hmm.
right.
Hmm.
This
So
is the
on
hardest
the
one for me.
there you go, Tommy.
Can I not go first?
There's your back cover,
This is
dude.
this is the hardest one for me. I love every song on this album. Oh, there's like three that I'm still trying to decide between. Give me 1 second.
This is bringing back some great memories for me.
This is like
Tony.
choosing children. Can I pick two number ones? All right, I'm gonna go with my first gut instinct, and I'm gonna
Let's.
say, and this is controversial for some people, and other people just agree 100%, and some people are like, "Are you crazy?" But for me, I'm a riff guy, and it's got to be Somebody Get Me a Doctor, because just
Mm.
the syncopation of that rhythm of those open notes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just powerful, and then that bam, bam, and then when he stretches that chord, if you play it right, play the correct way, he keeps the bass note the same and keeps moving, the rest of the chord. He's playing, chord inversions of chords with or different chords of the same bass note. So it's really like a jazz or a classical music technique. He's playing in like a hard rock tune, which is awesome. And then when he breaks into the boom, and then he just fades in the thing, and then does the hummingbird kind of tremolo picking up, and then when he plays the, I don't want to, play too much and get like copyright something, but when he
Oh,
plays,
look at that. That's
when he
beautiful,
plays,
Tom.
when he plays that, and then I love that stuff. Just that he's playing those like, triads there, and then when he's doing this, just the Jimmy Page style kind of heartbreaker where you're pulling off.
Yeah.
Hey, Kurt. How's it going, dude?
Gosh. And then my backup. Gosh, this is hard. I guess for me, Women in Love, because I could have said I love DOA. I mean, I love Light Up Sky. Who doesn't like Beautiful Girls? Like, Bottoms Up, Out of Love Again. I love all these tunes. But oh gosh, yeah, I gotta say Women in Love because it's just like to me, represents a different kind of thing for Eddie, but still equally as cool. Just like, from an album standpoint, seemed like a lot of the kind of stuff we hadn't heard from him before. It's like, oh, he will play like clean stuff, and then he goes and shreds on acoustic, on the same album, so that was cool, I thought, from that perspective. So that's probably would be my number 2 or my backup, if you will.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I don't know. They're all good to me.
Will,
Yes,
your
sir.
turn.
All right. Well, I'll have to go with Light Up the Sky and Woman in Love.
Nice. Very nice. Now, my 2
it's considered a wood instrument.
on that are, the first Van Halen song that I ever heard was the Dance the Night Away.
Yeah. You're no good.
So when I heard that and then went and watched them later on that year, bought Van Halen 2 first. So that song really, every time I hear it, it brings back memories of, of a lot of cool things back in those days. So that's my number 1 off Van Halen 2. But I would say that my runner-up, Bottoms Up.
Yeah.
That absolutely. I mean, DOA.
That's a good
I love
groove.
Light Up the Sky. I love.
Oh, that riff DOA, man. Oh, it's so good.
But Bottoms Up is just, to me, it's the most rocking song off the record. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So that's my
Nice.
2 right there. Off of side 1. Yeah.
Isn't that the same guitar that Edward put in Dimebag Darrell's casket?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
That's the one.
See what I mean? Charitable heart.
Bumblebee.
Yeah. It's amazing.
He knew Dime wanted that guitar. That was Dime's favorite guitar. He said that, once they became friends, I was watching something Dime was talking, when he was still alive, somebody's like, once I met Eddie and we were, kind of friendly, I was like, I used to always tease him, like, I want that Bumblebee guitar, man. I want that. But that's crazy. He buried the original one with him. It's like, wow.
I'll tell you, if you ever want to learn, at least the thing that helped me, well, it helped remind me of the kind soul that Eddie was and still is, I'm sure. Is watch that video of him and Jason Becker together.
Yeah, 100%. The
He,
humanity.
he Eddie's like, this is all about you, man. This is all about you.
And the way he's like, come here, man. The first thing he's like, come here, man. Come here. Can I give you a hug, man?
Yeah, he's like, this could be me.
And he's like, yeah. And
you know, so I don't care what anybody says about the Van Halen family, about Edward, about Wolfgang. I know for a fact that family is one of the kindest, most generous family and loving families in the music business.
Yeah.
Of what exactly. And you know what?
I heard a cool story someone was telling me. Someone that was involved.
It's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. They knew like I guess Eddie and his wife Janie, and they said that when they would have parties and cater and stuff, they would purposely order an extraordinary extra amount, knowing that if they had way too much, the catering people would get it all and they could take it home. And he said they always did that on purpose, knowing they could hook these people up. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. You know, it's real hard to find quality like that now, you know, I mean, especially in these times. So what you got, Tony? What you got? Women and children first up there?
Yeah. So this record upcoming. This guy loves this record.
This is the toughest one. Can I go last?
You want to go last?
Yeah, just for this one. This is my favorite album.
All right.
Oh man.
There's your back cover.
The jumpsuit and the shark. I should make a shark, Tony. That's what I need to do. How do I not have a shark guitar and that's my favorite album? How do I not like? It's weird.
I know what my two are.
Okay.
You guys might even know what my two are.
Number one, And the Crater Will Rock.
There you go.
For the obvious reasons. And the very last one in a simple rhyme.
Interesting. Interesting. All right.
Your Romeo's Delight, yeah. That's a good one too.
Everybody loves that. They began a lot of shows, a lot of tours. That was the opener. Yeah. Well, my favorite two songs. I love the album. Love all the songs, but the two songs I really love are Take Your Whiskey Home and Could This Be Magic?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And interesting that both of them are the acoustic tunes off the record. But yeah, I love them. I love them.
Fair warning, Tony.
Got to wait on Mr. Tom up there.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
No, it's okay. So for me, it's tough, but for me, it would be, as much as I love Romeo Delight, for me, it's Fools, because it's just, There's so much going on in that song. You know, it's almost 6 minutes long. 5:55, I think, is the time, right? Is that it? 5:55. It's like 4 or 5 seconds short of 6 minutes. I think it's 5 minutes and 55 seconds if I remember. But there's so much going on in that song. I could listen to it all the time. My backup's Romeo Delight, because that, intro tapped riff and then the like, I just love the power. For me, it's not about like if it's a super technical Van Halen part or whatever or not. It's just, for me, it's about if it grooves. Like if I can see Eddie doing that thing where he runs across the stage and like jumps off the cabs and like, seats back there trying to keep from knocking over. I'm like, that's what I see as Van Halen in my head,
Yeah.
So I try to, I guess, look at it from that perspective. But I could have just as easily said any of them that, you guys said and been just as happy.
And
or any
your
of the other
number
tracks.
one?
My number one's Fools. My number two would be
Fools.
Romeo Delight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Gotcha.
But I also, like, everybody wants them. I was just listening to that the other day in the car, and I'm like cranking it up, and it's like, just the breakdowns in that, and he swells in the volume. I love that.
Right. All right. So we're going to move along to 1981's Fair Warning. A record that I absolutely love.
Me too.
Ooh, Lord have mercy. What a great album.
Yeah.
What a great album.
Pardon me.
There it is, right there.
For years, that was my favorite album. For probably 20 years, that was my favorite album. And maybe it will be again someday,
All right, Will.
Back so many good memories from it.
Yeah, it does.
That's a real hard one to pick too, man.
All right, well, let's go with One Foot Out the Door.
Oh, look at him.
Nice
Look at him.
So let's start with that. And then let's just go one song up. And what's the song that's right before One Foot Out the Door?
Sunday Afternoon in the Park.
Yep, that's the one.
Oh wow, yeah.
Okay.
I like the live one of that. Where he's playing it, he brings out the little synth.
Yeah.
Down.
Down.
So that's a really cool synth sound on that. When it comes in, like I want foot out the door. Yeah, that's yeah. It makes you wish the album keeps going for another 30 minutes after those two songs,
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say that my two, they are the two best. But I really can't say which one I like more.
Okay.
But I'll say I'll give them both a tie for first.
Okay.
And this is in no particular order, but hear about it later in Unchained. Yeah. So that's my two. Those
I don't know
two.
if I don't know if I can put it in order, man. Let me think about that.
Main Street.
Mine's gonna be my number one would have to be So This Is Love.
Oh, okay.
Always love that song. Always love that song. My number two, though, are my backup. And that's a tough one, almost like tied for first would be Hear About It Later. Because I always think of the live show when those, God, it had to cost them probably $500,000. The VH would come up. And apparently the lighting on that, well, Tony, you were at those shows. Apparently the lighting on that was putting off like so many megawatts that it felt like you were at like 104 degrees outside somewhere, even though you were maybe inside.
That big light truss that came down at the end
Yeah.
with the VH. That I saw them 4 times that tour,
Wow.
but Greensboro, it didn't work. It never
Oh,
came
okay.
down. Yeah, it
Hmm.
never came down at the end.
Isn't
Um,
that I'm sorry, Tony, isn't that the moment when the light truss, the big VH light truss came down,
yeah,
Eddie would flip Frankie around because Frankie had
Yeah.
the
yeah,
reflective, and he
yeah,
would like point the
yeah.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because they had the lights on it that went like they had. Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
it came down not like this, but it came down like that,
Yeah.
like they did with the one, and a couple years later with the 1984 that came down, and it's basically at their head level. It's really
Yeah.
low. You got to
Yeah.
watch out or you'll run into it.
Mm.
But yeah,
Thanks,
um,
Sandra.
but also too though, in those early days of MTV, you got those first couple Van Halen videos off the Oakland shows.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
So This Is Love, Hear About It Later, and Unchained. So maybe that has a little something.
There's a hear about it later clip on YouTube that you can see the lighting. You can see it.
Mhm.
You know, it's a pro shot video.
That's the Oakland show, and
Yeah,
that's
you're right. Yep.
spliced in.
Oh, really?
That
I didn't
light
know that.
truss didn't come down until
Wow.
Unchained at the end. Yeah. And
Wow,
Hear
that's
About It
cool.
Later was in the middle of the set.
That makes more sense. I mean, why would they
Yeah.
pull it down in the middle of the show?
A lot of the Oakland stuff is spliced. You can see where there's one in Unchained where Ed's got the black and white drop D
Mhm.
guitar he used on
Yep.
that tour, and then
Yep.
there's a shot where he's got the other guitar, and then it goes back. So a lot of that Oakland stuff is spliced. A lot of it was made in the afternoon also,
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I heard that.
yeah. All right, so um we're going to do a couple of more albums here. And at the halfway point, we're going to have a unboxing. Which will neatly coincide with what we're doing here tonight. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's see. So we are at 1982's Diver Down.
Ah.
There's your back cover.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right, Tommy. You're on the tee box.
For me, it's Hang 'em High.
Oh, nice.
You know, I just like that. I don't know. It's the aggressiveness, I guess. Again, that's for me. My favorite kind of stuff is like, and the rhythm is just like, oh man, it just feels like it's, you know, like a fighter pilot going at like, 800 miles an hour. I don't know. I just love that.
Yeah.
Me. Yep. Be there in a minute, bud. I guess for me, Little Guitars is number 2 because I just love not the triads, the descending, triads, that he plays up high, but I love just the little. Yep. Party plays at the beginning. That you know that part at the beginning. I don't know. I love that part right before, and just the way he phrases. You know, the triads. It's nothing complex, but just the way he phrases them. I don't know. That would be my number 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really think about it that way. That's just kind of, off the top of my head, I guess that would be. I mean, but there's a lot of good tracks on there.
Nice, Sandra.
Nice.
And you got a agreement there from the Rev.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Will. What's your 2?
Well, number 1, Where Have All the Good Times Gone?
Oh, nice.
First one. I would, as a player myself, I lean towards Cathedral, but Intruder made a mark on me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Well, my picks, when this album came out, it came out after a very good album. And I'm like, how can you get any more than Fair Warning? You know?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
when this one came out and all these covers on it,
were you pissed?
I wasn't pissed because every new album, I embraced, but to hear the opening track, Where Have All the Good Times Gone? I'm like, yeah, where have all the good times gone from Fair Warning?
Was it like falling off a cliff?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Cliff.
A little, maybe a little. But the best track on the album by far, hands down, every day of the week, back, forth, up and down, is Little Guitars, without a doubt. And number two on it is that little song toward the end, The Full Bug. I really like that track too.
It's a badass riff at the beginning too. It's not easy either.
There you go, Browns fan. Right on, brother.
CK mentioned too many covers. My only minor issue is the first 6 Roth.
Well, face, nice to see you, dude.
I think it was, partially the fault of, record company saying, we want another album now, and them saying, well, we want to go on tour and have to do it and rush it,
Ted also always said that if you do a cover, it's proven already.
Yeah.
So he was big on that, and but Roth had a lot to do with that as well, him and Ted. But yeah, Little Guitars on that all day.
That's a good one.
That is that album, in my opinion. That's
great one.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was, stuff like Cathedral that Eddie probably had around for quite a while, and they're like, what can we put on it? He's like, well, I got something that's basically all around me. Cathedral, it's all me, or 90-some% me, and Little Guitars, it's like, just follow me, and it's all him. So it's kind of like, to me at least, it seems like Eddie playing in the studio was like, yeah, I've had this shit for a long time, so we're gonna put that on there, so it's not all covers, But
yeah,
I love Hang 'Em High, though. I mean, that to me stands up with anything. I think it's so underrated by a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, if you haven't listened to it for a while, just go back and listen to it. It's like,
but
Man, so
Can
good.
I just want to share something real quick. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
No, go ahead.
Me and my wife and I are going up to Pasadena tomorrow
Cool.
because she has an appointment in Pasadena. Well, we're gonna stop by the corner of Fair Oaks and Colorado and eat at the old spaghetti factory. Now, what's so special about this corner is that at the corner of Orange Grove in Colorado, where what's known as the Orange Grove Bridge, but I call it Suicide Bridge, there's a big open green field. And I believe that if this thing gets passed, the city of Pasadena is going to erect a statue dedicated to Eddie right there in that big green open field.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
I believe that that's the corner.
I've
It's
heard
gonna-
I've heard about that. Yeah.
David Lee Roth lives right down the street from there.
Yeah.
And I've been to his house, not inside, I was outside. I couldn't get in at the time. But he just lives about 10 minutes away from that corner.
Oh, wow.
So that would make sense to have the statue built right there.
Now, where is the corner where the on the curb where Rudy and Alex it's on the, I don't know what road it's on. It's near their house, but you know where it's at.
I got pictures. I'll send you pictures.
Here's what do. Hold the picture up and I'll highlight you.
My wife's telling me I'm too loud. I love her. She's cool. She's a rocker. Let's see here. Let me pull up a picture real quick. I believe they should be still in there. I sent them to Johnny Beane. There's some old pictures, banners, thumbnails. Well, Johnny Beane's got them because I text them to. Oh, here they are, right here. The light's too bright.
Yeah, the light's too bright.
This is the corner right here off of Allen. And kind of a sideways picture. Let me shut this light off. There we go. There we go. Right where that black crack is, it said Van Halen right there on the concrete.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was right down the street. That was right down the street off of Allen.
Have you ever gone by their house on Las Lunas?
Yeah, when I was younger. Mainly because Eddie and Alex had already made it big and already moved on. But I remember going down the alley and checking out the garage where where they used to practice. And when
cool.
Eddie and Alex were kids, when they would get out of school, their friends would want to come out in the street and play. They were in the house, or they were in the shed. Eddie was in the shed learning all about guitar wiring and building his own amps and building his own cabinets.
Yeah.
It's a small little garage.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Well,
Cool.
listen,
Yeah,
Tony,
Joe.
I gotta get going. So thank you very much
All right, Will.
for having me on tonight.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. We appreciate you stopping by. Ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen, Will Starr.
Come to the show, everybody. Tony's gonna be great this Friday coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Will's show this Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern,
Yeah.
on Hanging with the Dreamer. Can't wait. Can't
It's-
wait. Gonna be fun.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for the invite.
Yes, sir.
And thank you. I had a blast. You got great little show here. Build it, stick with it, stay inspired, don't stop. Do not stop. Keep going, man. And when it gets hard, just take a few breaths and focus and be the awesome guy that you are, man. You've got
Thanks, Will.
you've got a good show going on, Tony. And you're working with a great bunch of people, man. Sandra and Tom and Johnny. Thank you, everybody. Come by the show.
Yeah. Everybody go check Will out.
And Tom, if come by the shows, hang out, and hang out and get to know my chat room and be a part of the team, man. And I love I'll have you as my guest on Guest Appreciation Day in May, man.
Good girl, Annie.
Sounds good.
Good girl, honey.
Yeah.
Sounds cool to check it out. Sorry, I had to go check. If I get cut out, we're having like torrential rains and tons of thunder. So if I just disappear for no reason, that's why. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt any further.
All right, Will.
My beautiful rocker wife is waiting for me. I got to get going.
No problem.
All right, Will.
Thank you.
We will see you soon.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks
Will
for hanging,
Starr,
man.
everybody.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Well, have a good one, brother.
All right.
All righty.
Cool. All right. All right, Tommy. So we are approaching the halfway point right here. And this is 1984. My favorite album.
It's a great one.
My favorite.
I was going to ask you off the air, but then I thought I would save it and ask you cold right now. Have you seen The Family Guy? No, it's not a quiz. Whenever anyone who's like a big Van Halen fan asks me that, don't you always think they're going to test your knowledge? I wouldn't do that to you now.
Do it.
Because you know you'd pass every test. No, it's not a quiz. I was just going to ask, have you seen the Family Guy episode where Peter is told to go to the library and take out 1984? Does not get George Orwell, gets Van Halen's 1984.
Right.
And he's like,
right.
Is this a book on a CD? Okay, whatever. And he goes to the little CD station, puts it in, and he goes, is this what a Van Halen is? Oh, Lord. And he grows his hair out, and he's got the David Lee Roth, like, jumpsuit, and he goes, yeah, and he kicks his leg up and stuff.
Yeah.
And he crashes his car. That's the best.
1984.
Yeah, I mean,
what
it's
a great album.
Oh, man.
What a great album.
So good.
Yeah, what a great album.
So good. Can I address something really, really quick?
Sure.
See, not address like in a negative sense, but CK had asked a question. Can I explain why I love women and children first? But I think it's about, I'm going to guess about 12 to 15 exclamation or question marks. I think it's got a good arc, a good curve, a good flow. I think it kind of fits from beginning to end. And I think if you listen to the individual riffs within the songs, it might not be everyone's favorite type of song, but I think it's some of the peak of Eddie's guitar playing. I think he was at a point, and I can't be credited with the one who said this, but one of Johnny Beane's guests had used the term pre-Valerie Eddie, and it just, he was on fire. Like, he was this young single dude, and to me that's where he kind of hit his stride, was right there. So I know everyone, it's not their favorite album for tunes, but I love the tunes, I just do. But I also think in terms of playing, I think he was just like firing on all like 12 cylinders, like a
But I
supercar.
thought it was because when you reached in the paper bag on paper number 1, and then you reached in there on the last paper at the bottom of the hill to end your paper route, I thought it's because the album was exactly as
That's
long
true
as your
too.
paper route.
That is exactly right too. So I listen to it every day, so it's kind of burned in my memory. That's part of it too. So that's probably why it became one of my favorites. But I still feel it's like just this. Oh man, he was just unstoppable at that point.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I adore Fair Warning. I just for, like I said, for years, for CK said, where do I stand with Fair Warning? For years, Fair Warning was my favorite album, like for years. And then I just
Yeah.
hit this Women and Children First stride, and I was just like, no turning back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, on this album, 1984, what a great album and
oh
tour.
yeah.
That was my last year of high school too.
Wow.
Such great memories. Huge parties. I mean, huge parties. 900, at a couple of them in the spring of
Wow.
'84. My um my top tracks off of this one, my number one song off of this album is has to be Drop Dead Legs.
Thank you. Go ahead. I want to
Um,
interrupt it. Yes, of course
you
it
know,
is.
the
Of course.
the riff, the groove, the lyrics, um, yeah,
The
um,
rhythm alone.
yeah,
Oh,
never,
dude,
never gets old,
insane.
never.
Never, never.
Um, Now, when this album first came out, Panama
Mm-hmm.
was my song
Mm-hmm.
off of this album. Um, I liked Jump. I can't say that when I first heard Jump that I didn't like it. You hear that a lot.
Right.
Um, I embraced it. I was like, this is cool. It's still Van Halen. It's not quite the same, but um, and I liked I'll Wait as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought it was a good mixture. Um, with the keyboard stuff that they had done in their past.
Mm-hmm.
I like the keyboard stuff off of 1984, but Drop Dead Legs, and I have to say the runner up for me on that is House of Pain. That last tune, plus the fact that it's an older tune that they had, you know, many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, So
I feel the same way. For me, I'd pick the same one. That's my number 2 as well. House of Pain. I mean, it's only like a little over. Was it 3 minutes and what, 15 or 20 seconds, somewhere in that range? It's not that long, but just a little bit over 3 minutes.
yeah,
But it's heavy hitting. You can tell it's got that old school Van Halen sound too. You know what I mean?
Edwin, there you go, dude. Right on, bro.
Yep. CK Fruitcake Tony is right. Yeah, I agree. But you know what I loved about Jump was just the fact that there was a video for it, so I could see more Van Halen. I could see Eddie. I could see his guitar up close. I don't, think that someone who was, say, just finding Van Halen today would not just finding them today, but someone who was maybe younger that was just finding them today would perceive the impact that had when you didn't have the internet. The only access you had to it was when they would have a video like that, unless you saw them in tour and you're like, in the video you could just see up close his guitar and see him playing the riffs. Even though he's miming it in the video, you could see him doing it up close and the way he did it with his fingers, and that
Yeah.
was cool. That was cool.
Well, the only thing that I didn't like about Jump Live that year, and but I mean, who am I to say? But in the video, you see him playing keys
Right.
and the guitar in the solo. But live, he actually played the keyboards, but he mimicked the guitar part on the keyboards.
Because there's the
Rather,
part where the keyboard and the guitar cross over.
but I
It's not that
think
much though.
we talked about this a while back. I think if he'd
Yeah.
have had a guitar on, and when the guitar part comes up, just play the guitar part, miss a note or two going back and doing the keyboard
Also,
part of the solo.
even with kind of 80s technology, you still at that time had enough ability with samplers that he could have looped that last couple bars, hit
But
a button that would play the sequence part on the keyboard and start it on the guitar then. There's
he didn't
many
even
ways
have
to
to
do
do
it, you
that.
know?
He didn't even have to do nothing. All he
Yeah.
had to do, in my opinion,
Okay.
is when the guitar part comes in, play it. When it ends, go back to keys. It's most of their music. All their music is just one guitar, one bass, and one drum anyway. So if he misses a couple of notes going back, it's cool, you know.
He's Eddie Van Halen. Who cares if he misses a couple notes?
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
He
exactly.
was thinking of writing up a bad review in the paper the next day or something.
Well, in later tours,
I
they
know.
ran the track, and he didn't play
Yeah.
the key at all, you know. Yeah, but you know, um, aw- awesome song, I liked it when they debuted that song on MTV on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1983, right before midnight that
Wow.
evening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was asleep, I'm pretty sure.
they had some big MTV New Year's whatever happening, and they ran that. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
And we are absolutely lucky and blessed. Yeah,
Yep.
just saying. Just saying. Um, all right, so we're done with the first six albums, the first six Roth albums. So we have an unboxing, which is gonna kind of tie in with what we're talking about here tonight. So let me open this up. All right. This thing is kind of tough, Tommy.
Halfway said, use a knife. Now things go south and get dicey under the little Red Robin.
All right, since a lot of my CDs, and I'm a CD guy, are kind of all over the place, and since it was such a great price on eBay,
Yeah, you said you got a great deal.
I ordered
Nice.
the first 6 remastered CDs. And there they are. Yep.
Very cool.
So
I was telling you that earlier today. I was talking to Tony, and I was saying, yeah, when you were telling me about that, this afternoon, I was like, yeah, I need to get that.
yeah,
You
I mean, 21 bucks, $19, on eBay.
can't even get them that price used and scratched up.
I know. I
Yeah,
know.
good
Exactly.
deal. If you want all of them, it's a heck of a deal.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So Roth leaves this band and 1986 rolls around, and that is your new Van Halen album with
That's right.
Mr. Sammy Hagar. All right. What is your number one?
Hmm. I think it kind of has changed over time. I think it's 5150 for me.
Oh, nice.
But I gotta think about it. What would be my number 2? Let me think. Just trying to think which I like the best. I think because I'm thinking from like Live Without a Net, that's where my reference is, and I think Get Up. I really like that tune.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it the first time I heard it as much, but then the more I heard it, the more I liked it. You know what I mean? Does that sound weird? I love Summer Nights too. I don't know. That would probably be my second choice.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
tune too. Best of Both Worlds. I mean, it's a great album.
My top 2 songs off of this are probably a tie. And after hearing on the radio, and as Chris mentioned a second ago, it kind of wrecked my world a little bit also. in the context of Van Halen. But after hearing the song on the radio first, before the record came out, why can't this be love? I was like, oh no. I was, oh no.
Why can't this be David Lee Roth?
We liked Hagar. He rocked. We were picking on him like Van Halen's got Sammy Hagar, and okay,
I've heard
bring
people
it,
say,
dude, bring it.
people call that song "Why Can't This Be Roth?"
And we heard that song and that ba-dum, 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 ba-da-dum, ba, and we were like, oh no, why can't this be love? I'll write the big long list of why can't this be love. Right.
You're like, Tony, was that like a, was that like a, oh hell no.
I know it, but so the album comes out, and the first song, "Good Enough," hello baby, and that riff, bass and drums kick. Oh shit, man, it rocked. It rocked. I
Did you
loved
feel
it.
relieved when you heard that?
I felt relieved. I was like, thank God.
Dodged a bullet. Woo!
Yep, and then the next track is the one that I skipped over. Let's hear "Good Enough." But no, I mean that song's grown on me over time. But yeah, no, but that's "Good Enough" is a tie with the opening song on side 2, "The Best of Both Worlds."
It's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah. That those two songs you can't go wrong. I want the best boom of boom. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a cool tone too when he just rolls down the volume, and it's really quiet. Like,
yeah. So after hearing the whole album, I was liking Mr. Hagar much more. You know, he was like, welcome. You know, he was in at that point. You know,
that's cool. Yeah,
he was. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So OU812.
I think for me, number one still is AFU. That riff, man, I love that intro riff. I don't know, because they're such different tunes. I don't know. I guess the one that comes to mind for me, I guess it's polarizing to some people, but I really dig that tune, "Mine All Mine."
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I just like that it's very unique on there. But AFU definitely number one for me.
Yeah.
The riff almost has like it sounds cobbled together, like it's two or three different riffs, but the way he plays it, it works. But if you go to learn that riff, you're like, oh, what the hell is this? Like your hands like.
Yeah.
But it sounds cool as hell if you learn the riff, It's just all these different parts where it's going from the real high part, the harmonics, to a really lower, harmonically lower part. I just dig that tune. I love it.
My favorite song off OU812 is the second to the last song on the record, Sucker in a Three-Piece.
Yeah.
The way the song starts, bum, 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 the drums, and it, awesome. Lyrically, awesome. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Good stuff.
The best song, in my opinion, on the record. Just a sucker. Yeah. And I would say number two
Yeah.
is AFU. You know. Yeah, and I love the intro on it. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah. The picks, KXM Rock said the pick scrape. I know exactly what that reference is referring to. Yep.
yeah,
I love it for
yeah,
the part, the part right after. Naturally wild.
yeah,
The
yeah,
riff's like brutal, and then we just the
yeah. Oh yeah,
crazy. Love
yeah.
that.
All right, so that is
CK's talking about Opeth, man. I don't know some of these bands, I don't know a couple of those, but Opeth, man, the guitar player, one dude in that band is freaking sick. You haven't checked that guy out. I mean, even if you're not really into metal, man, just check the guy out. I forget his name, but I don't know if he's a lead guitarist or the rhythm guitar player, or if he's only one guitar player in the band, but he was on one of those like either Guitar World or Young Guitar or something on YouTube. I saw it today. And
yeah,
I apologize, I don't know his name, but it just said guitar player from Opeth. And oh man, he was doing this clinic like a 5-minute warm up for your hand because the guy just totally rips, like shreds anything, and he's doing this warm up with just his left hand and just the dexterity, but his fingers barely come off the neck, but every note is clean, like wow. Like
yeah,
that guy's put in, there it is, CK put it there. That's his name. As soon as I saw it written there, I'm like, yeah. And I remember see it written below the video,
yeah,
Oh man, he's definitely now on my list to check out more of his playing because I don't know anyone that puts in that kind of dedication to get that level of precision on the instrument, man. It's like it's worth giving them a chance and checking out what else they've done, probably.
yeah, yeah. All right, Tommy. So after OU812, a couple years pass, and they march into 1990 and record for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Yeah.
1991, and there is your
Oh man.
rear cover.
Let me think. Sorry, I gotta play this in my head to think about two parts. All right. My favorite is Judgment Day.
Mm,
I just like it. I like the groove. I like the beginning. I dig the whole pound cake thing, but I was more into Judgment Day. But it's probably tied for me for first. I would agree with CK on one of his choices, Pleasure Dome. I love Pleasure Dome. That would be kind of for me tied for first, probably Judgment Day and Pleasure Dome. I love Judgment Day. The use of open strings when he's playing, seventh, well, they're not really all seventh chords, but he's playing 4-note chords, or he's playing, triads with double notes using the open strings, and it just sounds, I think, really full, but then he gets that really low open string, and, with the Floyd, and then hits the harmonic. And to me, it's
Yeah.
just like classic Eddie. He puts all the elements together. Like, I started out building my own guitars, and now I'm like driving a Ferrari kind of thing,
Yeah.
It's like he had full control of, like, him on that guitar was like a ranch hand on like a horse that's been doing it for 40 years. Like, there's not even a question about it. Like, that thing's part of his body,
Yeah.
So,
Well, off of this album, and a great album.
yeah.
Great album.
Yeah.
And I think when me, you, and Johnny did the rank the Van Halen albums last year show, I think I had that ahead of OU812.
I do.
I think I like Foreign Lawful Carnal Knowledge a little better than OU812. But my tracks 316
Mm-hmm.
it holds a special place and meaning. I have a kid that was also born on that particular day. So,
Yep. It's awesome.
yeah, so that has always been a really cool, but the actual, if I have to pick a song off the album,
It's a
enough
good
said
one.
there. Yeah. So I mean, the way the album starts, you know, um, yeah. But looking at the list, you know, Judgment Day, Spank,
Right.
Runaround, Pleasure to In and Out, Man on Mission. There ain't a bad song on there.
Nope.
There's
Nope.
not. It one of the albums where there's not a skip song on there.
I
You know,
agree.
yeah. So yeah. Um,
Keg Some Rocks at Judgment Day, just hammering the Floyd. That's what I love about it.
yeah.
But it's funny because when I got that Music Man Access guitar, I tried doing that, like that song, and I'm like, oh no, it's just that he was just that good, that much better than me. That, like, he makes it look like it's really smooth on there, but the way those are set up, because it's not floating, it's decked, to get that to come down the right amount, but not dump it too far, and keep it like somewhat, where you still have a pitch and it doesn't flutter to nothing. That's an art in itself,
Hmm.
because those Music Mans are decked and it's so little room. It's almost like the way Jeff Beck had his Floyd, or not his Floyds, but his tremolos, where they're like, it's like a feather touch to bring it down,
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, as that right there, I agree. I agree. That was the best of that era. Absolutely.
CK said Fruitcake Tony likes the drill song.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love it, man. Love it. Um, yeah. Like the whole album.
Well, did you see, so
Love
when
the
we were
whole
talking
album.
about the Floyd, being brutal on the Floyd, did you see when Tom Weber was interviewed? They said when they got the FU tone parts, they said, oh, did Eddie get it? Because he wanted to just try everything when they got titanium parts. And he said, no. He goes, the tour that he said he wanted his Floyd, nuts both clamped at the bridge, coming back, the clamps from behind the Floyd, and also the neck nut clamps, as tight as they could be, like ridiculously tight. And he said that he would snap them and they would only last like a show or two, 3 shows or whatever, a short amount of time. And he said when they finally got the titanium parts, and he goes, those were the only things to replace, just those little titanium pieces that go in there, and then the whole titanium nut, assembly. But he said that they went the whole tour, whatever it was, 150 shows or whatever, on one nut and one, set of like saddle inserts, I guess they're called. What's
Hey
up,
now,
Jay? Hey now.
Gizmachi, get the new album. It's out there.
Definitely.
Yep, it's everywhere.
Especially if you're gonna
Get
hear this.
it now. Jay, how you doing, dude? Happy
Very cool.
Sunday.
I think that's the most unique Floyd thing I've heard someone do, like in many, many years. The tune on their new album when Jay does the like drops the Floyd with the left hand,
Yeah,
that's badass.
yeah. All right, Tommy. So
Balance.
we are, yeah.
Balance.
The Balance album.
That's a tough one. Two songs for me. Which one do I like better? Oh, you can take it down if you want. I'm just trying to think which song I like better. All right, so I probably have to go with Amsterdam's probably my favorite. Yeah. Oh man, I guess no. Seventh Seal's got to be my number 2, but I would almost say like they're tied for me. I love that song, Seventh Seal. I love the intro, just the chords.
That's my number
Those
1.
ringing chords. Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost like if I can say, I would say they're tied for number 1 for me because I love both of those, but I love the riff so much in Amsterdam. If I have to pick one, I got to go with Amsterdam. I just love because it's got that really aggressive thing and he's got that real super crunchy tone on this album, but it's still, that I don't know if he's using an octave or if he just doubled it with a bass, but that line, on the bottom, and then it's got that, quick part on top, the high part, but the double low bass part in that riff, I just love,
Yeah.
Aftershock.
Yeah.
But
I'm
Seventh
there,
Seal,
half-face. Yeah.
Seventh Seal, just the what are they, Mongolian throat singers?
My number 2 is Take Me Back.
Oh, that's a good tune.
Yeah.
Great tune.
Yeah. That's my number 2.
That's a good one.
But no, the way the album starts, that number 1, yeah, that's.
You hear the singers, they're singing 2 different tones. Each person sings 2 different tones with their,
Right.
one person, one voice. That's Sammy's Fair Warning album. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, this album, I like it. I don't think I like the other Hagar albums. I think by the time 95 rolled around, things were heading, a little bit. I look at that album in that year, that tour, as their real last hoorah,
Hmm.
of original, you know, um, yeah.
You mean what you're referring to though is right before they just hit their stride with their best album ever when they did Van Halen 3, you mean, right?
Oh, of course. Sure. Um, and we're going to cross that bridge here in just a moment.
CK, what's up with Eddie's lumberjack look? Good call. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. But yeah.
Shaved head,
Um,
beard, yep, work boots and flannel. It's true.
all right, Tommy. Here it is. I know you've been waiting all night for it.
I've been waiting.
There you go.
All right. Oh, man. Oh.
Are you hiding the look on your face?
Look
All
what C,
right.
look
Let's
what
see.
C, look what
Let's see
CK
what
wrote. It's about, fire in the bowl,
fire in the
cakes
bowl.
and rock. I'm trying to think. I probably have to. Do I need to pick from songs, or can I just pick like, oh, this song kind of falls apart, but I love the riff?
You have
It
to
seems
go with the
it seems
number one.
irresponsible.
Got your reasons, but yeah.
Wait, put it up real quick because I want to play through the main parts that I like in each of my head real quick, and that will give me the best idea. Let me think. Um, I actually like. Okay, I'm just gonna pick off the top of my head. I actually like "Year to the Day" because I think it's kind of a concept thing.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was fully realized correctly, or maybe someone was a little bit in not a good state to realize it correctly, or they thought they knew what they were doing and didn't want to listen to maybe a producer, but who knows? But um, my second, actually, what Halface said, I like the riff from Fire in the Hole,
That's
but
my number one.
I think the song kind of falls apart. But I love the riff. The riff's
Yeah.
like
Right.
intense.
Yeah.
Like the chorus kind of falls apart a little, but that riff, I think he had that riff for a while because that was like a rockin' ass riff in that one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my number one. It's to me, it's a no brainer. It's the
Yeah,
best tune on the record. I like the radio hit also. I like the
Without
single.
You.
Yeah, I like it, but yeah, and my I like it and I listen to it, but it is what it is. Um, you know.
One sounds like Queen's Flash Gordon soundtrack. Halface.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, CK pretty much nailed it. Eddie's solo albums, remove the shrill vocals. I'm sure, has someone not done that yet? Like people have posted cuts of Star Wars Episode 1 minus Jar Jar Binks. They just digitally removed him from every scene.
Yeah.
You just remove the vocals from that album cleanly. Someone's got to have the stems and just leave the vocals out.
Yeah, that record was, and we talked about this. It's a really long album. It's almost an hour long, right, Tommy?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
It's a very long album too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, by, in comparison to their other albums, yeah. Can we talk about Dave Lee Roth? CK's starting to feel dirty. The bottom of the barrel now. An atrocity.
I'm with you. I'm with you, CK.
All right.
All right. So now it's going to get interesting here because a lot of these just a couple new songs on the greatest hits album
Right.
right there, Humans Being with Hagar, and the two Roth Can't Get This Stuff No More, and Me Wise Magic. All right, now the Hagar song, Humans Being, they actually did that song live in '04 on the reunion with Hagar. But the other two Roth songs were never done live.
They didn't do Can't Get This Stuff No More. I thought they did that with Roth Live.
Nope.
I'm
They
thinking
never.
what was the other newer song with Roth? Maybe they did the other one from the what was the single one? The
Different Kind of Truth. They did. Yeah. But
anyway, yeah.
on this
I'm clamping
album,
on.
you got, you know,
That would have
your
been cool to see, yeah.
greatest hits plus Humans Being, Can't Get This Stuff No More, and Me Wise Magic.
Yeah.
And I'll say, for me, Can't Get This Stuff No More.
That's my choice.
That is the.
How many times can you say that you love me? You know?
You know,
I think like Dave was having an on day, or the engineer was very good at EQing the right frequencies, because it's like reminds me of old school Dave when he's singing it, you know?
those lyrics.
Oh, I love those lyrics, yeah.
Now, when that album
Great rock
came
song.
out, you were unsure if he was going to come back or not. You know, and those lyrics in Me Wise Magic, I know what you're thinking. I have those same dreams. So it's like he's
Yeah.
coming back. He's coming back. You know. But yeah. But yeah, I like those songs, all
Yeah.
of them. Yeah,
I
but
love the Cocteau on the solo on the tune, you know, when he goes into that, and then I don't know if it's a Cocteau or if it's actually like a what do you call it, like a talk box or a vocoder, but when he goes into the solo at that part, it could be either one of them, but the part I'm talking
well,
about.
yeah. Hearing those songs though on their greatest hits album, that was kind of the start to the not hearing nothing out of them for several years,
Right.
nothing new, you know,
Yeah.
which, you know, but yeah, with the fact when Roth came back in '07, and the whole time from then on, he only would sing his stuff and not anything off the Hagar era, I would have thought that they would have at least done a couple of those songs off the greatest hits,
Yeah.
you know,
It
but
would have been cool.
they
Yeah.
never did, you know. All right, so we are approaching the last Van Halen album.
Yep.
Yeah. So after so many years, it was great to see. And there is your rear cover,
Oh yeah.
Mr. Tom. What's your top track, dude?
Stop making out with your mic.
Oh man. I'm thinking it like in my head. Because there's ones where I like the overall song, and there's ones where I love the just like some of the riffs and stuff. I don't know. Some people hate this, song, but for me, I actually like the one that was the single, "Tattoo."
Yeah.
I guess for me, number two. Mm, oh man, I liked "She's the Woman." I mean, it's kind of short, but I don't know. I dig the melody in "Tattoo." It's not my favorite as far as the guitar parts. Like that's not why I like it. I just dig the melody and the chorus. But some of the lyrics are kind of goofy or kind of remind me of old school Dave. They're just kind of funny, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that would be the two probably for me.
Yeah. Mine is She's the Woman. And we had already heard that in the past too,
Oh yeah,
you know, and that's partly why I was glad it ended up on that album.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
It fits the pattern of all the old tunes too. I mean, look at the length. It's what, like just about 3 minutes. You know, it's like radio friendly length.
yeah.
Ed was running the Boss OC3. KXM said, okay, yeah, the octave. So, old demo, yeah.
Have a good night, Sandra.
Have a good one, Sandra. Thanks.
See ya. Have a great week.
Take care. Yeah, Chinatown's cool too. It's a very interesting, like, effect and tone on that song.
I imagine this, Tom. Imagine this too, chat. Imagine if that album came out in the 90s.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, let's just say Roth came back during Greatest Hits.
yeah.
And that was that next album that year. But, you know, we may like it a little more than we do.
I think I need to just listen to it more too. I don't listen to that one that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Sandra. Have a good one. I think too, I've always had this theory that if you go see a band live, if you were to go see them live and they played all the tracks on that album straight through, I think you'd have a different appreciation for the songs, and you go back and listen to it on the album and go, oh yeah, that kicks ass there. Because if you see them perform the song live, I think your brain has a different experience than when you just, I think when you experience something through multiple senses, perceive it through multiple senses, it's a lot different than when you only perceive it with with your ears.
Yeah.
It's just a different experience, it's
Right.
you know,
Right.
I know there's been tunes I weren't my favorite, and then when I saw like Van Halen play them live, I was like, oh shit, yeah. you know.
Right. Right. Well, I have mentioned this many times, and it doesn't change anything, but I just wish that when Roth came back and Wolf joined the band, that they would have included a lot of stuff off the Hagar catalog side in
Yeah.
in their live shows. I didn't. I mean, I love the Roth years, but yeah, I think those last years it'd have been really cool. Roth's voice it isn't as good as Hagar's, obviously, but he could have wailed out best of both worlds, pound cakes. He could have done that, I think.
Yeah.
Sure, he could have.
At that
Maybe
price,
not as good, but
yeah.
still.
At that, ticket price or payday, whatever you want to call it, like just do your best, go for it.
Right, right. But, his ego or whatever, I'm only doing my stuff. My stuff, he always said, that my stuff, it is not a chapter, it's the whole book.
hmm
And obviously it's not the whole book, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Like
it's
the
it's
one
a
time when
chapter.
he was like, yes, when I was in the band, the real Van Halen, those references he made.
Yeah. I mean, I get that and I
But I mean,
understand
it
that.
just seemed a little too cocky. Like, all right, calm down, buddy. We get it. We get it. Just calm
Right.
down. But
Right.
no, you're not the whole band.
Yeah. No, he's not. Um, all right. So KXM Rock, CK, Lenny Lou and Mary, Half Ace, Browns fan, Reverend Kurt. I know Kurt's listening. He's on the road.
Drive
Um,
safe, brother.
and
Drive safe, Rev.
everybody watching on replay here, we do this every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. We talk all things Van Halen. Um, and we'll be right back here next week again, and we'll talk all things Van Halen. Absolutely. Um,
Yep.
yeah. So, with that said, everybody have a great week. We appreciate you being here. Um, nice to see all of you as usual. Um, yeah. So, have a good one. We'll be back here next week at this same time, Sunday night. Have a great week. See ya.
Thank you very much. Mm.